So today I wanted to talk to you about something that I find very personally meaningful, which is women's education. And I wanted to talk to you a little bit about women's education in relation to their choices and the inherent power in having choice. So I wanted to start off a little bit by talking about my own academics and my academic journey, as well as my own educational journey. And then I wanted to talk to you a little bit about my role model for my educational journey, and then women's opportunities and women's choices, as well as my own choices in relation to my education. So, allow me to introduce to you the self-portrait I have aptly titled Death by Calculus textbook. So, as you can see, if a picture is worth 1,000 words, this is clearly a literary masterpiece, because you can see I have absolutely nailed the death drop position, wherein you can see my arms crossed over my chest, my tongue lolling out. I have clearly been killed. And lo and behold, the murder weapon, my calculus textbook. So the plot thickens. Now, I promise that there's a context to this incredibly dramatized photo. So, throughout this year, most of it, I have been struggling a little bit with calculus IB. Okay, a lot with calculus IB. And throughout this struggle, I've thought to myself various times, man, I wish I was on a beach somewhere and I didn't have to work on this. Which is, of course, something that I would only think in my lowest moments, which happened at least only once a week. So that is the context for this photo, Death by Calculus textbook, where I was struggling with calculus and thinking to myself, I want to be on a beach somewhere. So what led me here? If I hate IB calculus so much, why did I take it in the first place? My mom. So let me introduce Nina Buscemi, PhD, the inspiration for me going into IB, and the reason that I have pursued an IB diploma, and my high school diploma, honestly. So my mom, she really emphasized to me the importance of getting an education. She would say something to me a lot. She would say, a good education gives you choices in your life. And I was like, what? Because I was like 6 years old and I didn't really care. So she would say that to me. She's been saying that to me for as long as I can remember. A good education will give you choices in your life. And so it was only kind of when I started to mature and grow up that I realized what that really meant. Choices in your life. A woman who is educated has the choice to do what she wishes with her life, has the choice to pursue whatever career she'd like, or to not work at all. But she would have made that choice for herself. She would have had the opportunity to choose a career. So in the case of my mom, who chose to both raise a family and pursue a career, my mom is a really great example of something that I like to call female freedom. So female freedom is a woman's freedom to choose, her autonomy over herself. So my mom is a great example of this because she chose to have both a career and a family, and chose to balance those things. And she had the opportunity to choose that because she did go ahead and get her education. So if my mom hadn't had a high school education, she might not have decided to get a university education. If she hadn't had a university education, she might not have decided to do a PhD. And if she hadn't decided to do a PhD, she might not have had as many career options as she did have. And really, her power was in the fact that she had that choice. So even a high school education enabled her to make choices, gave her options in her life. So she's a really good example of female freedom and of choices and why education at any level is so important. So in terms of women's choices and opportunities, kind of to summarize what I mean by this case study, women's choices, education gives women choices. And choices are just so important because that is the fundamental basis of female autonomy. And really the definition of feminism, I often feel as though the definition of feminism is warped in our increasingly polarized world. But the definition of feminism at its very core is allowing a woman to choose what makes her happy, whether that be staying at home, keeping a home and raising children, or pursuing a career, both of which are equally noble and important. A woman should be able to choose which of those she would like to do, or if she'd like to do something else entirely with her life. She should be able to choose. And the way that she is able to choose is through education, because an education will open a woman's mind, broaden her horizons, and teach her of her own capabilities. Teach her that she is powerful, and that she is worthy, and that she is able to do whatever she would like to do, and have her own autonomy in her life, particularly, and not have to be beholden to a male authority figure such as a husband or a brother or a father. And that is so important that women get to choose like that, because they deserve to be happy. All women deserve not to suffer through judgment or through ostracism from society, or any of these things, any psychological or physical harm. And so this is not to say that a woman can't be happy if she is not educated, because obviously there are women who are not educated and are happy, but the point is that she should be able to choose. She should be able to choose whether she wants to pursue an education or not. She should have that choice available to her. And of course there are places in the world where socioeconomic factors preclude a woman from choosing to take part in education, whether that be high school, post-secondary, or beyond, or even societal factors. It could be anything that could preclude a woman from pursuing these things, but in the ideal world, women should be able to choose. They should be able to choose if they want to pursue a career, if they would like to pursue higher education, if they would like to not work. Whatever they want to do, they should be able to do. And I believe that education is the first step towards that. So, my choices. I talked a little bit earlier about how I really wanted to be on a beach. So if I'm talking to you guys about choices and having the opportunity to make your own choices, and I'm saying, oh, I wish I was on a beach somewhere, I can choose to go be on a beach somewhere. Why not? The reason why not is because I want a high school diploma, I want my IB diploma, I want to pursue secondary education. And the reason that I want these things is because there are millions of women all over the world who do not have access to education or are unable to pursue it because of extenuating circumstances. And they need people to fight for them. So, if I want to be one of those people who's going to fight for women to receive universal education, I suppose I'll have to stay here and suffer death by calculus textbook a little bit longer, because I have to do it for them. Thank you for your time.